Well, it's about time that finally I have this piece of paper which proves that I am now a German citizen. It was actually ready for me in April, but what with the pandemic and everything, it was 2 months before I was able to pick it up. But let's get serious for a moment, because some of you may be keen to know how I managed it. So here is my very quick guide to becoming naturalized as a German citizen. There are a couple of different routes, but let's assume that you're like me and you cannot claim citizenship by descent. There are a few conditions that you need to meet. You need to have been legally resident in Germany for at least the last 8 years uninterrupted. You also need to have permanent permission to reside in Germany. If you are a citizen of another EU state, that part is automatic. You need to convince officials that you're not likely to need welfare, so you will need to be earning enough to support yourself and have made arrangements for your retirement. You also need a clean criminal record, not just in Germany, but in every country you've ever lived in. You also need to take a language test to prove that you can communicate in German to at least B1 level according to the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages. B1 level is enough for you to cope with most everyday tasks like ordering food in a restaurant or filling out a passport application form. Finally, you need to pass a citizenship test. You get 33 fairly simple multiple choice questions and you need to get more than half of them right. You can practice online, and if you're not confident you can pass the test, there are integration classes that you can take. Your first step is to arrange an appointment at the local administration offices. Now, this is normally done at district level, but check the local government websites for information on where you need to go. You meet with your caseworker for a chat. On the basis of that, you're given an application form and a list of the documents that you'll need to produce. Those will be things like birth certificates, marriage certificates, pay slips, tax returns, and things like that. Anything that isn't in German will need a certified translation. You also need to get a transcript of your criminal record, but it has to be recent, so I recommend getting that one last. You apply for it at the municipal council offices in the place where you live, and you can arrange to have it sent directly to your caseworker. Fill in your application form, but don't sign it yet. Call your caseworker and arrange an appointment, and this is where you actually submit your application. Everything will be checked to make sure it's in order, then you sign your application form and a few other things besides. You also have to go through a ridiculously long list of violent extremist organisations and state whether you've ever been a member of any of them. Once everything is in, it normally takes a couple of months to process. When that's done, you're informed that your certificate is ready for you to pick up, assuming of course that your application was successful. But there are still one or two things that you need to do. Most people will need to give up their previous citizenship because Germany does not like dual nationality. There are a few exceptions. The main one is if you are an EU citizen. Britain was still an EU member state when I submitted my application, so I was able to keep my British citizenship. If you're British and you haven't applied yet, then I'm afraid you are too late. You can also have dual nationality if the other country doesn't allow you to renounce citizenship, or if they make the process so difficult or expensive that it's basically impossible. Everybody else will need to go to their country's consulate and give up their old passport. Sorry. And you need to pay the fee, which is currently €255 for one adult. Compared with what some countries charge for naturalization, this is actually quite moderate. You have to show proof that you have paid. I was told I could just show the transaction on my phone. And then comes the moment you've been waiting for. You swear an oath to uphold the German Constitution, and then you get your certificate. Congratulations, you are now a German citizen. In at least some states, you do have the option of waiting for a proper ceremony with other new citizens and in front of family and friends where you get to sing the national anthem and everything, but obviously not during a pandemic. And there it is. Poor old Germany. Now they can't kick me out. You're like me and you cannot claim to citizenship. You'll also need to take a language test to prove that you can speak, that you can, like ordering food in a restaurant or filling out something. If you are in at least some states, you do have the